Hey, fellow prospectors. Welcome to the Gold Prospecting Show. In this episode, I'm going to give you a couple of quick tips that I've learned here in the last week or so while doing some research and prepping for our first scouting trip of the year where we went down to Central Colorado. I'll share some things that we learned down there, as well as get you some quick digs that I found this week of gold nuggets of information that'll help your prospecting and help you get going a bit quicker. So stay tuned. And let's get started. Well, this last week and a half, I spent a lot of time scouting in central Colorado along the Arkansas River looking for some yellow. Spent a lot of time with the family working some sample buckets and just digging around, seeing what we could find. Didn't find enough to, really say this is the spot that we need to come back to this summer. But man, we met some great gold miners and other friends. So if you jump in and join me over at egoldprospecting.com, I will get you some resources that will help you get started in either metal detecting or gold prospecting. You just pick the one that you want to get into, and I've got some tutorial videos, some articles. Here's my most recent one where I showed you how to do some gold mining with the LR2000 report. But look, whether you're metal detecting or not, the gold prospecting or just the prospecting hobby in general is fantastic for everybody. I've got some video of the kids helping me, from the littlest kid all the way up to the biggest one. They were working the holes together and made sure they were filling them in after they were done. So whether you're metal detecting or gold prospecting, this hobby is the most fantastic one in the world for you guys to get into as a family. You pick up, you do the research, you share some ideas, some thoughts, some things to do, and you get out there and you actually do it together. It is the most fantastic. So let's get started. Wanted to show you a quick little trick for GPSing. This trip was coming up and I couldn't put my hands on my GPS unit. I've got a little Garmin E-Trax and couldn't not find it. Don't know what happened to it. I know I was checking the speedometer with it after we got some new tires on the Suburban, but wasn't able to put my hands on it. So odds are one of those kids have hidden it from me and making me prospect for it. But here is a quick trick. There's an app in Android that if you just search the Android Play store or whatever they call it, it's called Oryx Maps, and I'll just jump into their website. There's links into the Android store. You can even scan the QR code here if you're watching the video of this podcast as well. But Oryx Maps is a free application, and you can use it online or offline. Like if you're in an area without any cell coverage, you can still use the GPS function. And if you've downloaded your map, which it also allows you to do, to your Droid, then you can still see things. But you can see they've got fantastic things, and this is what I ended up using in Colorado. And so what you do is once you've got that, you can either upload it to a couple of different online services. There's one called Gypsies. It's out of I think the Netherlands, someplace in Europe. That's gpsies.com. And if you just go to egoldprospecting.com/17, this is episode number 17, I'll have these resources listed where you can quickly get there. So you don't have to worry about writing it down if you're traveling right now and you're listening to this in your vehicle or whatever. So once again, egoldprospecting.com/17. And it'll show you all of these links and other resources that I'll be talking about. So, Oryx Maps, it comes up and just gives you a very simple, straightforward interface. There's tutorials and a manual and some other things and some other downloads. But here's what you're able to do. Once you get back home, you can click on your device once you've connected with your USB device, and you just scroll down to the Oryx Maps folder. This is my Droid, and Oryx Maps folder, and you look at track logs, and you can just double click on them, and it will actually open up the KML file, which is the Google Earth version. And if you're watching the video, this is jumping around just a little bit just because it's open in my Google Earth. But it will zoom you right into where you were. And so there you can see our tracks and what we did, some spots that we stayed, in fact, camped at, and then where we were actually doing some prospecting. So there in that area, there's a public panning and gold mining area, gold prospecting area. It's called Cache Creek, and it's over here in this side. I didn't record the track while we were over there because we were really just in and out scouting over there. But this Oryx map, it will show you exactly where you were, what you were doing. You can overlay waypoints and other things to show you what was going on. We were on some GPAA claims, and a lot of that area is claimed up. So, but it separates things into sections and everything else, and you can quickly overlay topographic maps of the areas. But anyways, it was fantastic. We had a great time. Weather was awesome. There was no bugs whatsoever. The highs were in the low 80s. The highs were in the low 80s. The lows were in the low 50s, and no bugs whatsoever. A little bit of wind. Now they're having a lot of forest fires, and with as little snowpack as we saw when we were down there, up at the top of Mount Elbert and other things. This is the highest peak in Colorado. With as little snowpack as we saw, it's going to be a very long, hot summer for the folks down there in Colorado. So you guys, good luck with everything down there. And that's one thing you got to worry about when you're prospecting, is whether or not you're going to have enough water to do what you want to do. So make sure you're scouting your area, and you've got some time available in the front half of the summer, because by the end of the summer, you may strictly be classifying and then taking material back home to process. So Oryx Maps, that is a fantastic free GPS service to use with your Droid phone. I have yet to find something comparable for the iPhone, but I'll keep looking and digging for you guys. But you can overlay relief maps. There's a compass, radar, other things, and you can upload, like I mentioned, to several online services. Every Trail, that's a very popular one here in the U.S., but as I said, I've used the Gypsies before. That'll help you out. Now, one other quick dig that I found was essentially a Google Earth grid that will show you a bearing, because we were actually looking and going, well, what the heck peak is that? And so what we did is you can actually go into this service that's actually going to be in the launch pad. So if you join me over at egoldprospecting.com and just sign up right here, just your email address, you'll have access to these resources. So this is one that will be added to the launch pad. It's called the Google Earth Grid. And what you do is you punch in your latitude and longitude and what bearing you want it to draw, and it will overlay that bearing. And one thing that you might have noticed on my Google Earth when it was opening up, there was a huge line. Let me turn some of this off here. Huge lines drawn around the globe, essentially. And what I did is, we were interested in seeing what peak was down here in the Roosevelt National Forest. And so you punch in where you're at, and it turned out it was Mount Ethel. And what that does is it just takes your bearing and overlays the bearing as a line, as you can see on my Google Earth. It just overlays it for you across your entire globe in Google Earth. So once again, you punch in your latitude, longitude, and your bearing, and then you just click to get your download link, and it gives it to you as a KML. And then you can select the grid style. You can turn it into a cube. I just did the tetrahedron, which is that three-dimensional multi-sided figure. But man, they've got all kinds of stuff I can't even pronounce. Icosahedron and dodecahedron. But anyways, you math guys may know more about that stuff than I do. But so that's another great resource. So there's 2 quick digs for you that I found. And one other one that's been shared with me recently by my buddy, my mate over in Australia, Cordell Kent. If you remember back to one of the very early episodes, I was able to interview Cordell, and he was the guy who was selling the 177-ounce gold nugget that was found in the Ballarat area of Australia there in Victoria back in January. And I interviewed Cordell, and man, we've become good mates here over the last few weeks, and he shared with me a solid gold nugget of information that he uses to research spots to prospect in Australia. It's the National Library of Australia, and it's called Trove, sort of like treasure trove, Trove. And once again, this will be in the Launchpad. And what you're able to do is, I just did a quick search for gold prospecting and selected the resources they have available online. And man, it came up with 22,000 books, 4,000 pictures, and several 254,000 journals and articles. So if you're looking for something, odds are they've got it, because it's not just Canadian specific. So once again, just jump in, get the Launchpad. This will be up at the top of the Launchpad for the first 2 weeks or so, and then it'll move under its proper classification. And odds are it'll probably be under Australia. But if you're using the Launchpad, you just click Control F to find whatever you're looking for. You just punch in something. I try to put in enough descriptions in there that you're able to track down what you're looking for. So, a couple of news for the metal detector guys out there. In Milwaukee, local metal detectors have been just getting going now that the weather's warmer. And here's a news article where guys just headed out. A guy named Chris Krez found a lot of coins and old locks, doorknobs, shell casing, and he's always been interested in finding historical items. And if you guys are metal detecting or gold prospecting, it doesn't matter which, you guys love history as well, because if you're able to just dig in and find that historical spot where guys were either gold prospecting or metal detecting, you're able to find what you're looking for, whatever it might be. You know, when you get a little flash of yellow in your pan or a tone on your metal detector, man, you guys all know that's just the greatest feeling, and you're just looking to get to the bottom of that hole to see what you found. And the other one, a guy just started metal detecting, and he found a hoard of gold over in Britain. This guy, Wesley Carrington, he found 158 pieces of Roman gold worth almost $156,000 on his newly bought metal detector. It doesn't matter, guys. There's always going to be something to find out there. So if you're just getting started, looking for a place to go, you know, the best place to start is your local library. Start doing a little bit of local research. Ooh, this is also showing me the gold spot price. Ooh, that's still a little disappointing to me, but you know, that's an investment. I know a lot of the guys have started gold mining for full time up in Alaska and doing some other shows and things, and that low price is probably hurting you guys a bit. So I hope you're hanging in there. To get on with the prospecting news, let's see. There's a lot of things happening in the mining area. There's a lot of guys that are starting children's museums with gold panning as an activity. So if you're in your local neighborhood and looking for a way to reach out and reach the next generation, I mean, there's a lot of kids these days. They don't have a dad or uncle that can help them get started. look, go into your local library and offer your time, whether it's with metal detecting or gold prospecting. We're actually running a little deal with both of them. They're doing a Things from the Earth event here this summer, and we're going to share with them gold prospecting as well as metal detecting, and just sort of plant that seed with them. As the great hobby that they are, we have to make sure that we're sharing it. Here's a quick little article from British Columbia where kids are panning for gold at a mining museum. And in fact, your local areas will be doing Pioneer Days. Here's one where they're doing gold panning as part of a Pioneer Days in conjunction with blacksmithing demonstrations and other historical reenactments. So get out there and share the hobby. I mean, it'd be fun, give you guys something to do, as well as share your hobby, your experience with gold prospecting. The other last thing I wanted to share with you was our trip to Colorado. Now, we went down pretty much with the idea of finding a spot where we can then go back multiple times this summer and really dive into gold hunting. We've done some prospecting with metal detectors here locally, finding those little small relics from the Pioneer Days and other things, but we really want to dive in a little bit more into our gold prospecting this summer. And we scouted the Arkansas River Valley, and we found some great spots, some great indications of gold. But the best spot, it looked from at least the people that were working it, was the Cache Creek panning area, and it's managed by the BLM. And what they ended up doing, the BLM acquired this land, and it was a hydraulically mined area west of the town of Granite in northern Chaffee County, Colorado. The creek, which frankly it wasn't much of a creek, I was disappointed with the volume of water flowing down through there, but it flows into the Arkansas River just below the Granite Bridge. And Granite was the little town that served that mining area there in Colorado. It's on the opposite side. Well, I guess it's just south of Leadville, and they took nearly $3 million in gold out of this creek, and that was back when gold was $20 an ounce. So you do the math. I mean, there was a lot going on there. And so the BLM acquired it in 2002 to try to protect the wildlife and aquatic and what they call riparian areas, and that's just the river or the water area. And they do not allow high banking or dredging. So if you're heading that way, take your pan, take your sluice, take your tent or your camper. There's really not many places to camp right there next to the area, but there's plenty of spots in the neighborhood. So we were 2 miles away from it, and wish we had gotten over there sooner during our trip. We probably would have been working more in that area. But it's getting a lot of activity, and I tell you, no matter where you are, if you're in California or Nevada, Washington, Oregon, any place in the Rockies, you've got opportunities to get in on some of this federal land and get some things done. If you're back east, you've got to hunt and dig a little bit more to find those spots for gold prospecting. So metal detecting may be your best option over there. Anyways, guys, I got to run. This is JC with the Gold Prospecting Show. And once again, join me at egoldprospecting.com. Sign up, get access to the launch pad. You'll be able to find out some other things. You get access to me, actually. Just send me an email. My email is JC, that's the letter J, the letter C, at egoldprospecting.com, and I'll help you out. So take care. We'll talk to you next time. May you always find what you're looking for. Thanks to Jason Shaw of Audionautics.com for the music used under Creative Commons license.